What are sort of the big issues? You look at the Republican Party and you say, these guys are just, they're out to lunch.
Well, okay, just putting policy aside for a second, it's more about what I'm noticing in terms of, I don't know if fracturing's the right word, but the Republican Party is in a little bit of a pickle, right? Because when it comes to, and tell me if I'm right about this, when you look at Republican voters, it appears that they're certainly attracted to the MAGA type candidates. So they'll do really well in primaries. But then once you get to a general election and the battle is really about those independent voters, those candidates really do struggle. And I think that's what really transpired in the 2022 midterm elections, right? These Trump-endorsed candidates who are further to the right, in my opinion, lunatics. Like, they'll do really well, but then all of a sudden they kind of try to tone down their rhetoric to appeal to either moderate Republicans or independent voters in the general election. And it's not really working out for them. So I'm curious what your thoughts are on that, because I think you, just based on what I know about you, based on the conversations we've had, you're more of you're just a traditional conservative in my mind, really, right? And so, and I remember you having some analysis post midterm elections that was, you hit the mark on the head, like, or the nail on the head. It was correct in that we need to stop promoting these like far right figures who aren't appealing to a broader electorate. What do you think the solution is going to be? Because I think your analysis is correct on that.
So, I mean, I think that so much of this is attitudinal, meaning candidacies very largely in the primaries have become not about being far right politically. I mean, as you say, I'm a traditional conservative, which means it's hard to outflank me on the right. But when it comes to sort of the attitude that's taken by candidates, that's what's attractive. And that's driven largely by the polarization. I think that inside the Republican Party, there's been a move which is sort of understandable based on how assaulted people feel by the media in particular, that the more people attack a particular person on the right, the more people on the right rush to that person's defense and say this person is just the best thing since sliced bread. And that is, I think, people see that as beginning with Trump, and it really didn't. I mean, I've been here the whole time, and I think that for a lot of Republicans, that really started mainly with McCain. The sort of move from, I can't believe these people, like John McCain is about as moderate a member of the Republican Party as it's possible to find, and yet suddenly he runs for president, and he's the worst person in the entire world. He's garbage. He's terrible. What's going on? And then the Republican Party responds by nominating the most milquetoast human being on planet Earth in 2012, Mitt Romney, who is as inoffensive as dishwater. I mean, he's just, he is just white bread. He's white bread with margarine. I mean, and everybody on the left immediately went to, he's the most scary person. He's forcibly cutting the hair of gay kids in the 50s. And he's the person who straps a dog to the top of his car. And Joe Biden out there saying he's going to put y'all back in chains. Mitt Romney's going to put y'all back in chains. What in the, and so Republicans responded to that. Many conservatives did by like, why aren't we fighting this? We need to fight. Whoever is willing to punch somebody in the face is the person we're going to support. And so that's how you get Trump. And then Trump wins. And so because Trump wins, there's this sort of halo effect that has now accrued to people who are quote unquote punchers. Now, I do think that the solution to that for the Republican Party is to find people who are smarter punchers. I like the punching. I think the punching very often is necessary, right? That's why I like Governor DeSantis in Florida. I think he's intelligent about how he throws punches. I mean, like him or hate him, the guy's much more strategic than Donald Trump.
When he also didn't take any of Trump's bait. I mean,
right? No, I mean he's a very strategic thinker. He's somebody who really tries to pick his fights. Right? If somebody tries to pick a fight with him, he is not always going to pick up the glove and just slap back. Trump's big thing was you can't hit me without getting hit on any score ever, and that's not DeSantis. So I think that the idea that the Republican Party is not going to be combative in the future is wrong. It is going to be and it's okay to be combative, but you have to pick the right targets. By the way, the same thing is true on the left. I mean, I think that when you see Democratic candidates, very often there's an attraction to sort of the most wild-eyed because it's like, wow, the right really hates this person. They must be really, really fantastic. And I think you see some of this from the squad. But there are definitely counterpunchers in the Democratic Party who know how to punch and are much more strategic in how they go about that. That is, I think, the future of the Republican Party. That's at least the hope of the Republican Party. If not, what you're going to get is whoever says the wildest thing and draws the most fire is by necessity. What I've said to Republicans is you're essentially letting the left pick your candidates. You're letting the left target the person and then hit them. And the more they hit them, the more you're like, that guy's great. Love that guy. Like, well, maybe they're hitting him, yeah, because he's on the right, but maybe they're hitting him also because he's a bad candidate and because some of the stuff he's saying is crazy.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.